This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit, Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is professional wrestler, the Triple X, Sex Express, Sexxy Eddy. And when I'm not having sex, I'm listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Triple X Sex Express, Sexxy Eddy.
Wow, man. You know what? I'm going to need to take you on the road with me because with an intro like that, that was great.
Absolutely. We like to do it big here on Wrestling With.
and if there's one thing that I bring to the wrestling ring is definitely entertainment. I'm trying even to bring more entertainment into the world of wrestling because especially after the pandemic, everyone needs to be entertained, to laugh, to smile, to have fun, and that's what I want to bring to the table, and right up right close in people's faces.
That being said, where is the Sex Express going to be next, event-wise?
So tomorrow I will be in the beautiful town of Lévis in Quebec doing a show. And then the next night on Sunday night, St. Patrick's Day, I will be at back in Montreal at Fofone Electric for Battle War. So QCW Saturday night and Battle War Sunday night. And the Sex Express doesn't stop there. We're going all over the place. We go where the girls are. That's where Sexxy Eddy can always be found.
All right. And where can the girls find you social media-wise and merchandise?
So you can get to me on Facebook. Probably if you're a wrestling fan, we'll have a lot of mutual friends together. You can get me on Instagram at the only one Naked Eddy. You get me on Twitter. What's my handle there? I think it's just Sexxy Eddy. I forget
Sexxy
my
Eddy
own thing.
69.
There you go. You're on top of things. Usually I'm on top, but we'll take turns. This time you're on top of things, so it's perfect. You can reach me out there. You can for bookings, for chit chat, for advice too. I've been wrestling for way too long, so that's why I'm there to help. Also, if anyone has any questions and stuff like that, that's what we got to do now. We got to pay it forward. The wrestling game has changed in the last, I would say 20 years, and it's less protective, and now I feel more and more brothers and sisters are trying to help each other out, and if anyone could help someone get to their goals faster, then I think that's a plus. So that's what I'm here to do, and because eventually you can't wrestle forever. Not everyone's a Ric Flair, so we gotta pass it on to the younger generation, and make sure that they're doing it well and keeping the legacy going in the wonderful and wacky world of professional wrestling.
All right, and your merchandise as well?
Merchandise, I pretty much just sell myself, but you can get some T-shirts. Again, just write to me, and we can work something out. Also, I've been since the beginning of the summer last year. I came out with my own sexy sauce, my own hot sauce, 3 different flavors and stuff, and 100% of the profits go to charity. Those ones are a little hard to ship out because they need to stay refrigerated. But again, all the people that have had it love it. I have 3 different flavors: habanero with ginger, another habanero sauce with jerk style, and then I have my jalapeno and lime flavor. So 3 flavors, Sexxxy sauce. Like I said, 100% of the money goes to local charities, and so far we've raised for $1,500. So we've helped 3 different charities. So it's pretty cool. You get to a certain age and a certain point in life where it's time to give back. I've again, in my career, I've given a lot of orgasms to the ladies, but now it's time to give back to the whole community and to help out everyone. So that's what I'm trying to do with this project, and it's I'm having fun so far, man. Just seeing people happy, tasting the sauce, and seeing the charities get money that we raise for. So that's again, it's an awesome feeling.
Hell yeah. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox.
Excellent.
Alright, now the month of March was a big month for Sexxxy Eddy, to say the least. You wrestled your 1000th match at the 25th anniversary show of International Wrestling Syndicate, which you co-founded. So a lot to unpack there. Let's start with your 1000th match. What does something like that mean to you to have 1000 matches?
So at first, it's kind of like. At first, really, I was kind of like, is that it? I would have thought maybe I passed 1,000 a long time ago. But I've been keeping track ever since I started wrestling. I'd always write down the date. I'd write the federation I wrestled for. I write who my opponents were, the win-loss, and all that. And even though people will say, oh, professional wrestling, it's scripted, there's choreography. But for me, I like to know who I wrestled, where I've been, and it's just cool to sometimes go down memory lane, and you can actually see. I encourage everyone, whether you start doing it now or if you can remember or you start in the future, mark down all this stuff because it's fun to look back sometimes. Again, because your memory is not going to be there for your whole life. With all the chair shots you take to the head, it's good to write stuff down. For me, 1,000th match, because sometimes you think, okay, you're wrestling every Saturday, sometimes on Friday, sometimes on Sunday. Sometimes it's two times in the same day. I've wrestled during the week, but then you got to look at also. So again, if you wrestle 1 time a week, that's 52. Let's say, forget the holidays. Forget also if you got injuries that puts you out of the game, and we've all gotten injuries, or even like a severe, a pneumonia or laryngitis or something. So it's not an injury, but something that keeps you out of the ring. And then not to mention the pandemic where there wasn't that many people wrestling. I think there was a couple places where people would do shows for no crowds or stuff like that. So some people were still able to wrestle. But during that time, there wasn't any action going on in Canada. So with that said, we would all reached our goals faster. I would have been to 1,000, hit 1,000 a lot sooner. But again, you can't change destiny, and we can't foretell the future. So with everything that happened in life, I never thought I would get there. Every time I reached a milestone, you reach your 50th match, 100th match, 200, 250, 500, and I was just like, will I ever get there? Like you said, it coincides with the International Wrestling Syndicate's 25th anniversary. That's 25 years. I've been there since day one, so I've been wrestling for a long time, and it's pretty cool. I know back in the day, the guys that wrestled in the territories were wrestling every day, and for a lot of them, that was their primary source of income, their one and only job. Now you got to look at it. If you're on the independent scene and you're not on television, usually you have to have another job. I mean, unless you're a great coach and you're teaching seminars, that can keep you busy during the week. But there's not a lot of independent shows that happen during every day of the week. So like I say, unless you're AEW or with WWE or, a major company that's televised, those guys are running all the time. But on the indie circuit, and again, I'll explain something too. the difference of doing a TV match and an independent match is one is usually the time restraints, where a TV match, it's kind of quick, and a lot of times you're wrestling some of the same people town to town to build up for that pay-per-view, so you can have a solid match. On the independents, it's live, so that there's not really as much. You're given usually a lot more time, and you're going hard. You're trying to make some great moments, some great memories. So that's the thing. You're doing harder matches, and against people that you're maybe not comfortable with, or not that you don't even know. You're not wrestling them every night. So sometimes you're in a new town, a new country, and you're wrestling someone that you totally never worked with. So you got to build that trust, build that confidence, and again, hope for the best and protect yourself too, so that you can wrestle another day. So that's one of the big differences is the time limit and going harder on the independents with someone that you might not be as comfortable with. So it is a challenge, and again, it could lead to more toll on your body, but that's what we do. That's what we love. And again, it's a challenge every time we get in the ring with someone new. We just see if we can make magic on the first night, and sometimes it takes a few matches with the same person before you reach you get that special moment where you're like, okay, that was really good. Everything that we did was on point, and the crowd had a great time.
Now, continuing, down that path, like I said, your 1000 match coincided with the 25th anniversary of IWS.
Well, it was a couple off there, but it was in that same. It didn't pass 1,010, and it wasn't underneath. It was it was a couple more, but that would have been a pretty cool coincidence. I think I would have had to cancel a couple shows if I really wanted that. But I mean, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. In the end, we celebrated. I was celebrating my 1000th match at the same time as the big party that we had, and not to mention that we had a documentary crew also happened to be filming our 25th anniversary. Ooh. And we're hoping to see if it's going to be in the near future. They're going to be coming back to film more, but we might have something to premiere on Netflix or on Amazon. So it's awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah, that was and it was a surprise kind of thing. You only believe it until you see it. But when the crew was all there, they were filming backstage. They were filming the show. They were filming the day before the show. They filmed the day after the show. So they got some great interviews with everybody. And again, you never know what could happen if projects get scrapped, or maybe they're going to say, man, these guys are awesome, and then it's going to follow us for more shows. So again, I'm looking forward to that. Keep your eyes out for the IWS on, like I said, on Netflix. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Awesome. And may have been your 1000 match, give or take 10 matches. In the words of Dusty Rhodes, never let facts get in the way of a good story. But IWS, that's something you made. Indie promotions come and go nowadays. Here today, gone tomorrow. What does it kind of mean to you that IWS made it 25 years?
It's crazy. I've been on a lot of shows that have had only one show, that had a couple of shows that lasted a year. I've been the champ at one place. I think I was the only champion, or the first champion, and then the only champion before it closed its doors. So, like you said, a lot of wrestling promotions come and go. So to lasted 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25 years. And you think about some of the big names that we've had pass through the IWS. We've had like ECW legends, Rob Van Dam, Sabu. We've had from WWE, we've had Christian, the Dudley Boys. We've had, one of the biggest names I want to say was Kevin Nash. So they all came through, to perform at the IWS. We also helped. I want to say we had part in helping the resurgence of PCO, who's a huge star, even now on TNA. And, recent guys that are there now, we've had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They, had some of their first years or first couple of years of wrestling, and they were at the IWS. We have now even the guys from they were in 2.0 originally. Now you got Daddy Magic and you got Cool Hand Ang that are in AEW killing it over there.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see past, present, and we know we're gonna have future stars coming through and to the IWS. So, like you say, when it's your baby, I helped make that. I was there like on day one. We were doing the shows, but after a few shows, I realized that I was like, once it got off the ground, I'm like, you know what? I really want to be a wrestler. Promoting is a whole different ball game, and you got to put so much time and energy in that you don't have time to wrestle. And I just wanted to get as much wrestling as I can. I wanted to perfect my craft, and I could have maybe still done that with the IWS, but it would have been a lot harder. And I think I would have had to probably, forget about some of the things that I did, like traveling to different countries. I'd be more occupied on trying to get the show booked, making sure, all the flights are scheduled for the show, making sure that we got enough sponsors, all things like that. It's not easy. I mean, when you got a wrestler's perspective on promoting, that's a good perspective. But I just wanted to wrestle. So again, I left it in the hands of crazy fucking Manny, and he did it from there. We had our ups and downs and stuff, but we're still there, and we're on top now. We're 25 years pulling off, like I said, all these great talents that have come through and hitting some great big venues. We've done practically every bar or showroom in Montreal, like all the big bars that can have shows, we've performed at them. So that in itself too is a pretty cool feat. Not just staying in the same places, but we've moved all around, and we're like that I know of. We were one of the first companies to go from Canada and wrestle in the States with our whole roster. Sometimes you have certain wrestlers get invited to perform in different countries, but here it was our whole show, and it was, again, thanks to John Zandig at CZW to have us in the afternoon show, and then it was a Combat Zone Wrestling show at night. So that was pretty cool for some guys who've only wrestled one time in the United States, and that's all they needed. They could check that off their bucket list. So again, so many cool barriers that we've jumped over, so many doors that we've kicked down. So it's really cool, and especially the state of professional wrestling right now, the independent wrestling, it's flourishing, and it's booming. It's getting a lot of people when there's a lot of shows at the same time. So it's really cool to see. I'm really happy, and I'm happy for the future of wrestling.
Now you mentioned John Zandig. You worked for CCW under both regimes with Zandig and Hyde. Could you tell us about your relationship with both of those guys?
Yeah. So we started with John, and John brought us in. John, again, I talked to him a few months ago, just messaging him. I said, he goes under the radar, where I was like, people talk about the ultra violent icon. And I said, you know what, John? I said, I'm going to remember you more as a guy who gave other people a shot, who gave other people a chance to shine. Here's the basketball, or here's the football. Now run with it. Go with it. And he gives it to you. He gives you a chance. And if you go, he'll keep having you. And that's what he gave to us. That's what he gave to IWS wrestlers. And the more that the crowd wanted, he kept giving them more. So under John, he took care of us. He had you had myself, you had Kevin Steen, you had El Generico, Beef Wellington, Frankie the Mobster, Lufisto. We were the regulars. There was always a rotation in the car. We'd always be 4 people in the car, and we were the regulars there. And the crowd loved us, and he was good at reading the crowd and listening to them. Give the people what they want. Under DJ Hyde, it changed. I think there was budget restraints, so they couldn't. I think they couldn't. Maybe they wanted to cut down on costs, so they were like, "We'll have to cut down on the Canadians." So, and again, I want to say that I didn't get to work much under Hyde, but for John, like I said, he took care of us, and it was super cool. Where the people we met there was guys starting out from Chikara that are big stars, guys starting out from IWA Mid South, big stars afterwards. So it's really cool the people that we've met throughout the years, and then going down there and having fun. A lot of people will say, "Man, you leave Saturday morning and you come back Sunday night to wrestle 10 or 15 minutes in the ring. What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, you know what's wrong with me? Professional wrestling. And that's what we all have that's wrong with us, because whenever you love something that much, you're willing to spend your whole weekend, like I said, on 10, 12 minutes of ring time, but you know that the audience down there, it's not like an audience here, it's a special audience. The fans in Philly are some of the toughest crowds, toughest people to crack, but once they love you, they love you. If you can conquer the Philly crowd, you can conquer any crowd, especially those fans that have seen it all. They've seen everything. Again, they're going to shows at the famous ECW arena, and that's where we were wrestling. So there was big shoes to fill, and like I said, those fans had seen everything. So IWS and myself, we were able to bring a little hybrid wrestling. You get a little technical, you get high flying, you get guys that can do some acting, some comedy, and guys that can do some hardcore shit. So it was good that they saw how versatile we were, and like I said, they kept inviting us back. But and that's what I got to say about John Zandig. To me, I will always know him as the guy who gives people shots. So that's something that not a lot of promoters might not be willing to give. They always want to go on a sure thing. He gave chances, and man, so many people have passed through those doors. So it's pretty awesome that you can include a lot of us Canadians, a lot of us IWS wrestlers on the roster of Combat Zone Wrestling.
And you mentioned that you worked the 2300 arena. You're an ECW guy, so what did it mean to you to work that arena?
Man, I had the chills when I saw, like, there was the staircase in Beyond the Mat where Paul Heyman's giving his speech to all the wrestlers before the show. And, like, even though they were renovating, they were tearing some things down, and I was like, I had those chills. And my first time there, we got there early. I wanted to walk around. I just wanted to soak it in before the crowd comes and just walk around and just have a moment to appreciate and to realize how grateful I was at that time to be there, and that, man, you got to earn your way there. It should never be given, and that's the thing. We really worked hard to get there, and I think it showed in our match. My first match in the States was the Tournament of Death, which was in Delaware, Tournament of Death 3. But then, you fast forward, after my injury there, I got stitched up. A couple months later, my first match in Philly for Combat Zone Wrestling, not a Tournament of Death match, was that show. It was a 4-way. And again, it was myself, Excess, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn all tearing it up, doing what we did best. And it was a little crazy. We did some crazy moves that you don't even see anymore, but a lot of head drops and things like that. But we were hungry. We were passionate, and we wanted to show what we can do. And like John will tell you, we delivered.
And keeping on, Tournament of Death 3, the Light Tube match, that infamous moment. The thing that always kind of, I'm like, wow, when it comes to seeing you do deathmatch wrestling is, you don't exactly wear a lot. There's not a lot of protection. It's your boots and the trunks that you usually wear during, normal matches. So, like, what is have you thought about, like, what kind of made you go with just, your normal ring gear for death matches like that?
Well, first of all, I'm not a big fan of protection. I always tell the kids, I'm like, sex feels so much better without a condom. But again, with the time and changes in the age, you know what? Now I'm older, I'm wiser. I tell people, you know what? Maybe put on a condom now. I mean, sacrifice a little bit of the feeling, but yeah. Oh, wait, protection in the ring you're talking about. That's right. Let me get back to that then. No, I decided in the beginning, I'm like, I want to stay true to my character. I don't want to be wrestling this way, and then I put on jeans and a sweater to wrestle in death matches. I was like, no, what people are paying to see Sexxxy Eddy, I'm gonna give them Sexxxy Eddy, not a guy all dressed up. I said, you know what, and that's gonna make me unique, and it did make me stand out from the rest, where guys were like, this guy is literally doing it in his underwear, and I want to say that I was able to influence other wrestlers too, to guys like all the way to England and stuff. You got Big Joe, who just wrestles in underwear also. He doesn't even wear knee pads. That's how crazy he is. You got Necro Butcher, then he stopped wearing shoes after a while. He was just doing them all bare feet. So guys are trying to make themselves unique and different. So, whatever you're wearing less or whatever you're doing different, it's one thing. You got to be unique. So that's one thing. When people started seeing me do that, I think it influenced a lot of other people that said, you know what, he's doing it. Maybe I can do something like that too. So that was it. I just wanted to stay true to my character.
Is there something you did in is there something that you won't do in a death match, or something that you did do but said never again?
I don't know, never again, because I'm trying to think right now. I know there's stuff that I won't do, because as I'm seeing the newer generations come out, and man, razor wire is not barbed wire. That shit will tear you up. Once it gets stuck in you, you got to rip it out, and that's one thing I'm not a fan of for myself. Again, whatever other people want to do, I don't want to. Don't hear it from me, but there's some things that I won't do, but I don't want to influence other people not to do it. Beer cans, when they cut them in half, those things fucking slice. I've gotten a can bent and cut my finger, and man, that went deep. So when they go and cut all the beer cans in half and glue them on a door, that's a little too much for Sexxxy Eddy. I mean, again, I got to think about what comes after the show, what goes on in the bedroom. If I'm too cut up, I'm not going to be sexy anymore. I'll be moderately handsome, Eddie. And I think I've been going a long time with this name, so I'm not ready to change all my merchandise for that. So that's some things that I'll try and stay away from. But again, if somebody can do something good, they can do something crazy, and they want to go all the way. But there's other things that I'll do that I'll add to my matches that other people maybe can't do, So you're going to get a total show, a little bit of everything when you get a Sexxxy Eddy match. So, again, not 100% violent like some other guys. Again, not 100% of anything. But if you add it all together, whatever I'm going to give you is going to be 100% entertainment. That's for sure.
Hell yeah. And speaking of 100% violent, you wrestled Sabu. Like I said, you're an ECW guy. What was that moment like wrestling, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu?
Dude, again, I was a kid in a candy store. Again, you got nerves because you're just thinking, man, all the stuff that he could do. Again, I got him a little, I'd say, past his prime. So, I asked him what he was comfortable in doing. And, you know, sometimes it takes a while to talk and bring it out from each other. But, you know, because for him, first time meeting me, well, he'd already met me. I'd already seen him at some shows. But to work with someone, like I said, I wanted him to be comfortable. And the more we spoke, the more we chatted, the more we talked about everything except for wrestling. I think he warmed up to me, and you know, we got to still do some cool stuff, limited on what he was able to do. You know, he's been through a lot, and his body is like a roadmap of scars, and then with age came again more surgeries and stuff. So I can't remember how old exactly he was when I wrestled him. I want to say 55, between 55 and 60 or something. But it was like, you know, it's still, for me, that was again, a dream come true, added to my bucket list. I still have our barbed wire bat. We have my wife made a nice trophy case for me to hold that in, because again, that was a special match, a special moment. So I got to keep a special piece of my wrestling history from that. So I'm proud of that.
That's awesome. Now, going, you know, traveling from Canada to America, you wrestled in Japan. And you know, when it comes to buildings, pro wrestling buildings, there's not a lot bigger than Korakuen Hall. Can you tell us about wrestling in the famed Korakuen Hall for DDT?
Dude, again, another awesome moment. I want to say for wrestlers that haven't been to Japan, again, that's something everyone needs to do. It's like there's meccas of wrestling. There's some countries that respect it so much, and Japan is one of those. You know, again, in the U.S. and Canada, it's seen more as entertainment. It's more, you know, it's more of a show. A place like Japan or a place in Mexico, it's like, you know, place in England. There's some places too where it's sacred, and to wrestle in one of the most famous halls in Japan too. I got to sign my name on the wall. This was before then they did more renovations and stuff. So I think I don't know if the wall is still there or they built over it or something, but my signature is in there. It is in there, and if it's you know, it's still part of that, and I'm super happy to have been there. You know, my third tour actually, 3 tours in Japan, but to wrestle in one of the biggest halls, like I said, for Dramatic Dream Team Wrestling. Again, it was an awesome thing.
And you know, everything that we talked about, you know, are these like moments you take in the moment, or is it something that kind of sets in afterwards for you, like, wow, I did that?
You know what? That's a really good question, because when I was younger, I always thought, oh man, okay, I made it. I'm gonna have, this is gonna be a regular thing for me, and you never know what's gonna happen. You never know with injuries. You never know when someone else goes viral on the internet and they're like, you know what, we're gonna take this new guy instead of you. So stuff like that happens where you can't take anything for granted, and maybe I did earlier on in my career. But then after that, I was kind of like, no, you got to live every moment, cherish every moment. Whenever you're in a city, don't just go there to wrestle and fly out. Try and see a little bit of that city, because you never know if it's the last time that you'll be there. And again, it still hits me sometimes, and that's the magic of DVDs and the internet. You can relive some moments, and you can be, wow, I was there. Wow, I did that. Wow, I met that person. Wow, I wrestled that person. Wow, I've had sex with that girl, and now she's a porn star. Things like that, you know, you can't recreate. So it's awesome.
Yes, nothing more prestigious than that. Maybe this is a prestigious moment for you, but you know, at that event I just spoke about, you won the Iron Man Heavy Metal title. Can you tell us about that?
That was pretty cool. Where so I didn't know much about this title until they told me, hey, we're going to give you this title. And I was like, what? I just got here kind of thing. And so that title, they try and pass it off as much as possible. It's probably in the history of wrestling, the belt that's been passed to different, again, I want to say different people, even different animals, different inanimate objects. So I've watched the match where a table beat a ladder for the title. So again, there's not a title that's more prestigious than that title right there. But yeah, so it's something cool that they like to do. And I want to say that Japan, especially DDT, was ahead of their time, especially on the entertainment level. And it did help opened up my mind to what wrestling could even evolve to. And it was fun bringing some of those ideas that I saw there, that I learned there, that evolved in my own head. It made my little hamster start running in the wheel again. And I made some ideas that came out of my head after. And I was like, you know what? Let me bring that back to North America and see how the crowd there likes it. So it gave me great ideas, like doing a match. I did a great match with Eric Cannon. It was called the Alco Brawl. And again, anytime we're wrestling, but anytime a song would start playing, it would almost be we stop wrestling and we drink to what the song is telling us to drink. So again, there's a lot of drinking songs. Sometimes you can't think of them all, but we did a good research. We had some drinking songs. We drank a lot, and it was great to be able to wrestle and not have to wait after the show to be drunk. But we're drunk. Once we hit through the curtain, we were already buzzing, and that was great. But it's original ideas like that we need to see more of in wrestling. And again, some of them, you don't know how they're going to go. It could be a hit or a miss. You throw it against the wall and you see if it sticks. And if it does, man, then maybe you'll do it again. But you got to make every match special. Every match have to have a little something unique that the people will remember. They never remember who wins or loses, but they remember parts of the match. They're like, man, that was incredible. That part where Sexxxy Eddy was magnetized everyone, and they were all grabbing his junk, and then when he said power of the penis, they all went flying. That was incredible. So if you can leave everlasting moments like that in people's heads, you never know who's going to be at the show. You never know what 6-year-old kid will be at the show. You don't know if that 6-year-old kid will join a wrestling school, will keep wrestling, will eventually maybe be in WWE, will maybe be a future WWE or AEW heavyweight champion. So doesn't matter how many people are in the crowd. This is something that people always have to consider, that someone out there watching you might be influencing them and inspiring them to do what you're doing and to love what they're doing and love wrestling and, like I say, become a future champion. So we all have a role to play, and we're all role models. Once we get out of the curtain, we're all role models. So we got to keep that in mind and, again, pass that torch on.
Now, going from arguably one of the one country that's known for pro wrestling to one that maybe not so much. You recently wrestled in Africa, no?
Yes, I did, man. You did your homework. I really appreciate that. That's really good. Yeah, it was the first time there was wrestling shows in the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. So they speak French there, which came in handy because I do speak French also. My big advice I tell a lot of young wrestlers, the more languages you speak, the more girls you can sleep with. Again, it's very important. So a lot of my advice, by the way, it doesn't always necessarily have to do with wrestling. I have a lot of life advice that I can give people. But no, it was really cool. We got to do 4 shows in a row there. I got a little bit of time to visit the country, went to the zoo. But again, sometimes you appreciate more what you have and you appreciate your home because, again, when you're in another country and running water is not a commodity. It's not something that you can just have, running clean water. So that's something that I appreciate it a lot more when I came back. And, we as much as people will talk about politics or religion, we do have it really good here compared to some other places that are oppressed. And I mean, where they can't even, you vote for the wrong person and they might beat you or the soldiers will point a gun to you. So it's scary stuff like that, that's going on in the world, and you can't just turn a blind eye to it. So we are lucky. And again, I tell, if it's Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, whatever it is, we're very lucky. We just seeing third world countries and seeing how poor some people can be, it's a wake up call. And be lucky, be grateful, and not just for your moments in wrestling, but in life. If that's as positive as I can get, just appreciate everything, appreciate what you have, appreciate every moment you have it, because you never know when it'll all be taken away. So that's again, I'm just flowing with fortune cookie advice.
Well, was there any wrestling in Africa? Was there any maybe like differences in wrestling styles that you noticed and crowd reactions?
So again, at the beginning too, I was asking questions like, "Hey, should I wear trunks that are a little less revealing? Should I should I do my sexy dance? Should I do stuff?" They told me was the first thing they said. If the kids like it, they'll love you. If you don't dance good, they won't like you. So I did dance good. I knew they was counting on that. And when the kids were doing it too, I was like, perfect. I've got them. I've got them with me. We had like a tour, so we didn't have wrestlers from the area. There was no wrestlers from that area.
Okay.
It was, like I said, it was the first time that the Ivory Coast had a wrestling show. So there was no one from the area, which I've watched documentaries on wrestling all around the world and how it changes. There's all the entertainment aspect, and then there is the physicality part of it, of doing certain moves that you inflict on your opponents. But each country has their unique style. We were doing I want to say the entertainment style, what you see. We did have wrestlers from Mexico, from Brazil, from France, and the U.S. that were on the show, which was super cool. So there was a little bit of different styles, and we got to mix it up with everyone. So that was cool, but we didn't get to really see an African maybe taste flavor to the shows.
Okay.
But I did see some documentaries where they do show, and they'll like certain countries in Africa will maybe include a little bit of voodoo entertainment, and they'll include some stuff with the wrestling moves, which I thought that was great. And that's something that I like to see, and that's what the kids want to see. They want to see the moves. They want to know who's tougher, who's stronger, who's the champion, but they also want to be entertained, and that's what that's like. Just when you sit back and watch a movie, same thing. You got to let your imagination go. You got to let your thoughts on realism and that these are actors portraying a movie. Just let it all go, just like a wrestling show. Just relax and enjoy. That's what I tell everyone. Don't pick at it and, oh, I don't know, they missed that, or, oh, that's not that convincing. Again, the TV guys are doing it every day. Independent guys sometimes only do it on the weekends, but some of them are, again, I want to say head over heels better than some of the guys even on TV. But again, you got to just watch wrestling with an open mind. You're there for entertainment. You're there to have fun. And that's what you got to look at it. Like you're watching a movie.
Now, you wrestled the legendary Lanny Poffo. Can you tell us about wrestling Lenny?
I wrestled him. I wrestled him. I want to say twice. I'm trying to think, but he was super awesome. Did a little tour of the few shows. We were in New Brunswick, so that's one of the maritime provinces in Canada, and we had some time off also to enjoy some sights. Now, whatever you've seen on TV as the Genius, for Leaping Lanny Poffo, it's not an act. He is actually super smart. You can ask him different words, and he will recite poetry from the top of his head using some of those words from famous poems. So again, super intelligent, super fun to be with, and getting to wrestle with him. I want to say this is how I felt, because I remember a specific moment. We locked eyes during the match, and he knew he can count on me. And it was just some moment that I just felt, I was like, yep. And I knew what he was going to do, and he knew what he wanted to do, but he had to look at me. He gave me a look, and he's like, yeah, we're doing this. And we did it, a move that I only seen in back in the day. It was WCW game versus WCW versus NWO. And when you'd use some of the Mexican characters, they'd do this move where the guy kind of does a handstand, and he locks your head with his legs, his ankles, and he does a little twist on his head, and then you go flying.
Yes.
Well, Lanny did a version of that, and I was like, I knew what he wanted to do. We didn't call it. We just did it. Came out great, and I was super proud from that moment, just being able to read. We were able to read each other's thoughts, and that was a great moment that, again, I'll take forever to cherish. Again, rest his soul. A great person, a funny person, super intelligent person, and again, the underrated, sometimes brother of, again, Macho Man Randy Savage. It's hard to top Macho Man, but he was someone that was very different, very special, and again, a living poet, a living legend. Yeah, well.
Well, you did actually get to wrestle his brother. I'm talking about Black Machismo, Jay Lethal.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Brother from another mother, yeah. Again, Jay Lethal too, really cool dude. I got to first meet him when we were wrestling in Jersey All Pro. So once we started rolling at Combat Zone Wrestling and going there every month, after a couple of months, then we started going to Jersey All Pro once a month too. So again, that's where I first met him, and again, that was the crew down there at Jersey All Pro Wrestling, like Samoa Joe, there was Homicide, Low Key. Like, again, those legends of wrestling that were down there. So every state has its wrestlers that some people just assume that they just get in the WWE just like that. They just appeared. Everyone who's there, other than now at the training schools and things like that, but everyone in the past, they were wrestling on the independents for 5 years, for 10 years, before they're seen on TV. But the
Right.
WWE universe kind of has, I kind of compared them to a dog with a cone around its head. They only know what they see in WWE. They don't realize that a lot of these guys put in years of work to get to where they are. They didn't just appear out of a wrestling school and then go right to there. They put in the work. They traveled the miles, and they busted their asses in the ring before you get to see them on your television set.
Now, you were, I'm not sure if you had any interactions, but I do have to ask. You shared a locker room with Tracy Smothers. You were part of the Clusterfuck Battle Royal.
Yes, I will.
Did you get to have any interactions with the late, great Tracy Smothers?
I did, actually. I had some great moments with Tracy Smothers. One at the Clusterfuck that I'll talk about, but then there was other ones at IWA Mid-South where, again, one of my favorite moments that I want to say with Tracy, I was in full party mode. There were some guys that I hadn't seen in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. So when I was with them, we were all partying hard, drinking, boozing it up, popping the pills, doing everything. I remember one of the last things before the lights went out in my head. Me and Tracy Smothers did a cheers of a shooter. We took a shooter down, and I remember him saying, "Man, this is fun. It makes me think of the good old ECW days." and that's when it was lights out. But again, that's one of my favorite moments too, where someone could say, hey, you know what, this is what it reminds me of. And that was one of the coolest things that he said. Another thing that he said, it was at the clusterfuck. After I'd finished my part in the clusterfuck, I was totally naked. I mean, I was just wearing boots, and I was holding my junk in my two hands. I get backstage, and Tracy Smothers just says to me, hey, did anybody see my partial? He asked me. I said, look, I got my dick in my hands right now, but if I do find your partial, I will bring it to you. So that was one of the things that he said at the clusterfuck, which I thought was hilarious. You know, you're asking the guy with who's totally naked if I saw his partial. So I'm like, and if I didn't see it, I hope I don't sit on it.
That being said, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No, I don't.
T is for
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I'm like, wait. The T is for tough. The U is for ugly. You know what? I can't remember it now, but it was one of them. You know what? Now it's bringing my memories back. Again, yeah, that was one of the best because a thug can't spell. I know how it ends. That's Tracy. I love that. Again, one of the best promos. That one right there with the gang. I think everyone's high as fucking that promo, but that's what makes it so special, and that's what made Tracy Smothers the Southern boy, Southern blue. How did he call it? Southern blue-eyed boy. Southern.
Well, I mean, he could have been a blue-eyed Southern boy. He was a full-blooded Italian.
He was a little bit of everything. One of my favorite matches too. I never watched it, but it was Tracy Smothers versus one of the members from Guar, the crazy band that they dress up in crazy suits, and it was the loser leaves the galaxy match.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, I've seen a lot of loser leave town match, but you're leaving the earth. You're disappearing. So that was one of the most that's one of the moments too where I knew how awesome wrestling could be. When I'm like, loser leaves the galaxy match. That's how cool Tracy Smothers was.
Well, let's educate the listeners. I'll set you up. I'll do THU and you do G, okay? T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is...
Man, I can't, but a thug can't spell. I can't remember what the G stands for.
G is for jail.
Jail, because that's it. I was going to go like G unit, but like jail, because a thug can't spell. Damn, man. Great. That's a great, again, one of my, I love professional wrestling.
Well, we've talked about everybody that you've had incredible matches with. I don't think it gets bigger than what I'm about to say. You beat Sami Zayn and Kenny Omega in a Big Mac eating challenge.
Yes, I did. I'm like, if there's one thing that I could say I beat them on was eating Big Macs, because again, you're talking about two people that have great careers in the two biggest promotions, but I was like, no, this is my pride is on the line, and my big gut is on the line. So yeah, this was a Valentine's Day. We were in Japan, all three of us, and we were just the price of Big Macs it was very cheap at the time. So we decided that we're gonna do that on Valentine's Day because we were all single too at that time. So we're like, let's just eat like pigs and see what happens. So again, the only loser in that were the toilets that we sat on. That's they were the big losers, but we killed it, and we made a pyramid with all our burger boxes. And again, there was people in the restaurant taking pictures of us, probably saying, "Look at these dumb white Americans. Look at them, look at these pigs, these gluttons." But that's okay. We were like, it's Valentine's Day, and we're not going to be using our penises, so let's eat a lot of fucking burgers. And that's what we did.
And you were like, the joke's on you. We're Canadian.
That's a funny thing, too. But, again, people are always stupid Americans, stupid Donald Trump or followers or whatever they say. But we're just smiling and eating burgers. I can tell you, after your 6th Big Mac, they start to taste like ashtrays.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something goes wrong with your taste buds. You start to sweat. You start to get cramps. You start to see things. And again, picture this after eating all those burgers. It was the slowest race to get back to the dojo so whoever gets there first can get the bathroom to poop. But we couldn't run because we were going to poop ourselves. So it was, like I said, the slowest race you've ever seen.
Approximately how many Big Macs did you eat?
I ate, I think, so Sammy had, I think, 6, Kenny 7, me 8, I believe. 8. And the rule was you have to finish it. You can't just have half because then it doesn't count as, your full one.
Right.
So, and it's harder than you think. It's not even something that you gotta train or practice for some of these things. But it was like we did it on a whim. We saw the poster, 200 yen per burger. So we're like, you know what? That's like $2 a burger. Let's do it. Let's go crazy.
Well, that brings us. Oh, continue.
Again, you gotta live life. There's opportunities like this that you're like, this is gonna make. It's not the smartest decision. Again, but we're gonna have some great stories to tell after.
Keeping on that topic, it's time for Sexxxy Eddy's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Oh man, again, this was a long time ago, and I don't condone it. But sometimes, again, you're drinking while you're on the road. You're just like, again, maybe not the driver. So I was a passenger, but I was in the car. We were drinking quite a bit, and I was tagging with my friend Viking at the time. We were a team called Beer and Tits, and he was in the back seat. I can't even remember who was driving. It might have been Green Phantom, but I'm drinking a lot, and Green Phantom doesn't like to stop. He's got his plan. You got to hold your piss in. You got to be like half camel when you're with him. And I had to piss, so I had like a Gatorade bottle picked up from the ground. I'm trying to piss in the thing while he's driving. So you got to kind of prop yourself up a little bit. But then Viking starts massaging my shoulders, and I can tell you that I had a little performance anxiety at that point. It's really hard to pee when another man is rubbing your shoulders and you're driving in a car with bumpy roads. So I think that's kind of an interesting, fun story, and it doesn't look bad on anyone. Like there's, I didn't want to say anything too raunchy that the people might tune out, but I think, the next time you're at a urinal at a stall, have one of your buddies massage your shoulders. You'll see you'll stop a little bit. You might need to jump start with a little fart and to get pissing again. But it's really tough to do it when another man is rubbing your shoulders.
Yeah, I definitely say that was a bizarre adventure. Maybe keeping up with bizarre moments. You could correct me if I'm wrong here, but you were at the Montrel Screw Job, no?
Yes, I was. Ben, you're on point with your facts. So that was in 1997, WWE Survivor Series, and the main event, you had Bret Hart versus Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Now everyone knows Bret Hart's from Canada, Shawn Michaels from U.S. So you're in Canada, everyone was against Shawn Michaels. But you know what? Except for this Canadian, because I was always a Shawn Michaels fan. But again, I knew that you say anything wrong against Bret at that time, people would have kicked you out of the country.
Oh yeah.
He could have went for prime minister, which is like our president basically here, he could have ran for something. I mean, maybe he wouldn't have won with his bad acting on Lonesome Dove. I don't know if he would have been able to pull it off. But so I was secretly cheering for Shawn Michaels. And so the fight breaks loose. They go over on one side of the ring. They go over the barricade, and everyone moves away. And then the fight comes to our side, and Brett throws Shawn over the railing. And so the thing is, back then, and I think it's still now, the first 5 rows at any WWE pay-per-view or whatever they call it, premium live event, they get to keep their unique customized chairs for the event. So I was front row. It was I waited in line the day before the tickets were sold so I can get my ticket way in advance. I can get a first time ever a front row at a WWE event, live event, and it was a pay-per-view. So I did not want to lose my chair when Shawn Michaels got thrown over, and I didn't want someone to take my place and take my chair or anything like that. So I stayed put. And then I did a work forearm on Shawn Michaels. So basically, I was kind of faking it, but I reached far back. I hadn't had any wrestling training yet. I reached far back and I clubbed him, but very lightly. So lightly, I think he thought I was Bret Hart, so he sold for me. So he kind of reacted. But then once some people saw that, they all went in at it, and I remember hearing a thud of somebody just kicking him in the stomach, in the ribs, and like he took a beating from the Canadian fans. That's where I was. You look back, it's foreshadowing where if the city beats him up so bad, he's gonna have sympathy that when the whole screw job happens, it's gonna make it even more crazy, the reaction and everything that's gonna happen. So. Yeah, you distinctively see me in the video. You distinctively see me because I had crazy shavings on the side of my face. I was wearing colorful nail polish. I had scrunchies in my long hair. My tongue was dyed. I had a hat with horns that I was wearing. I really wanted to get spotted and being front row and stuff. So, and every time you watch a match, it's so the standard camera view of the whole ring, I'm right across from the camera, so I'm a little off center, but I couldn't have had a better seat. I couldn't have had a better moment. I couldn't have had a better opportunity as you got Shawn Michaels, the guy that I looked up to, that, again, inspired so many wrestlers before me and will continue to inspire wrestlers, but I had my idol right in front of me, and what did I do? I gave him a fake club on the back. So yeah, that was one, and that's when I really was like, man, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be able to be the puppet master and control how the crowd cheers and boos. I was like, man, again, that was the height of my professional wrestling fandom. I think being, like I said, a front row at a pay-per-view. It was just awesome to have your favorite wrestler right in front of you like that. So it was again, a great moment. Once you become a wrestler, I think some of that magic fades away. Once you're backstage and you know how things work, and it's almost like a magician. Once you know all the tricks, it's not as special anymore. You don't have that magic when you're a child and you're just so enthralled and in awe by everything you see. Once you're in that world, it's different. So that was the peak of my, I want to say, of being a fan for me. Awesome moment, yeah.
And you get to say you walked Shawn Michaels.
I guess if you want to, yeah, I could. It won't count as a win or a loss or nothing, but again, for me, that was it was surreal.
It's just incredible, that building was very pro Bret Hart, and when the screw job happened, you were kind of secretly like, yes.
Well, Rashawn brought entertainment, and that's one thing that I really loved in wrestling. I love the entertainment value. Bret was, technical and very serious, and when he'd call, "What are you guys, a bunch of degenerates?" And it was just like, yeah, that's when being bad was cool. So, you know, and it didn't matter what country you're from. I was like, if I like this wrestler, I like what he brings, you know, to the table, I'm a fan of his. So Sean was able to bring the best out of the big men, and he could do a little bit of all. Like Brett, you know, you give him the mic, and he's not going to be able to do a promo like Shawn Michaels could do. And you go into Sean's early stuff with the Rockers, great moves, and then you go all the way to like when he did, I want to say Ric Flair's last match, one of his many last matches, but that match too, it brought a tear to my eye just before he super kicks him, and you see he looks at Rick and he tells him, "I love you," and he kicks him, and the crowd knew that was it, but it didn't want to be it, and it was like, wow, you know, that again. He knew how to bring the best out of wrestlers, and he knew how to trigger the emotions from the crowd. That's why I love Shawn Michaels so much more than Bret Hart. So, like I said, yeah, I was secretly rooting for Shawn, but you don't want to do that in enemy territory where everyone else is against you. Or again, there could have been a lot of other fans that were pro Shawn Michaels, but for that night and that night only, it was like, look, cheer for Brett. So, you know.
Yeah.
If I would have clubbed Brett with a fake shot, people would have jumped on me.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing. But, you know, so again, everything that happened that night was so perfect, was so cool. And again, it changed what people perceived wrestling to be. Is it real? Is it fake? Is some of it fake? Is some of it real? What is it? And you know what? Wrestling is magic, and that's what we do. We're magicians, and we're trying to tell a story. We're trying to evoke emotions, and we're trying to have a good time, and we want all the fans to take this roller coaster of a good time with us.
Now, you mentioned this at the top of the show. Can you tell us about Sexxxy Eddy sauce and how you decided to make your own hot sauce?
Again, it was just a weird thing where talking to a fan on the bus a little bit, I saw him wearing an IWS jacket, and I said, "Where'd you get that, dude?" And he's like, "I made it." And I was like, "Dude, you made that? That's really cool." And then I was like, "Why didn't you say hi to me?" He's like, "Well, you know, you look busy and stuff like that." I'm like, "Hey, if you're an IWS fan, whatever I'm doing on my phone, you tell me, hey, put your phone down. I want to talk some wrestling." And from then on, we started talking. We got even into talking about hot sauces. We like hot food and stuff. And so he dabbled in making some sauces and perfecting some recipes. So from there, I was like, man, this is too cool, because before the pandemic, I was thinking about doing a hot sauce, and I even wanted to make, it was something that was really in my head. And I saw some fans in the States were making hot sauces for wrestlers, but not necessarily were the wrestlers, you know, having a hand in the recipe or in the process. It was basically just their face on a label. So a pandemic happened, so it put a pause on everything. But after that, talking with my chef Eric, and then, you know, I was like, hey, you know what? I want to do this, and you want to do this, but hey, let's do it also for a cause. Like I guess, like I said at the top of the show, we've raised so far $1,500, which again, it's not much when you consider $10 a bottle, but you got to hustle those bottles to sell them, and it's 100% of the profits go to local charities. So we still got to pay for the bottles, pay for the labels, and pay for the ingredients. And again, we're putting in a lot of hours to make this stuff of our own time, and I wanted to be there also in every step of the way to cut the vegetables. Eric's the chef. He takes care of the business, the amounts and stuff like that. His wife is helping out too. She's also like boiling the stuff, boiling the bottles, washing the dishes. So it's a team effort. And again, I'm just the face that sells the place, that sells the sauce. So I'm the sauce boss. We said let's try and raise some money for small local charities, because it's the small underdogs sometimes that people forget about. People know about the big causes and the big foundations, but hey, what about all the smaller? It's almost like the independent wrestling. People forget about the independent wrestlers. So I was like, hey, let's give something back to our local charities, to our local communities, and again, whatever amount we're giving, it's never not enough. It's like or it never goes unappreciated. That's what I wanted to say. It's like we'd love to give more, but again, this is what we give. So every 500 we give a different charity, and again, it's awesome. So we're going to be working on our fourth charity soon, and again, we're going to go with it till we can't go anymore. So it's fun. It's really cool, and people are enjoying the sauces too. That's one of the most important things. It's tasty, it's affordable, and it goes for a good cause. That's pretty much our pitch for the Sexxxy sauce.
Now, we've been talking about Sexxxy Eddy this whole long way. Can you tell us about Eduardo the Sexual?
So Eduardo the Sexual, that was me trying to have some fun during the pandemic, and I just fooling around. Again, I didn't realize how important social media was until the pandemic, where again people couldn't go to live wrestling shows, they couldn't go to live concerts, they couldn't go to live comedy shows, they couldn't be entertained, and I was like, man, the power of social media. So on Instagram, on Twitter, uh, and Facebook, I was just having fun shooting silly videos of me, a lot of times in my underwear, because again, that's as close to my character as I want to be. I want to be true to my character, but I do stupid things, silly things, and again, feedback that I got was, "Hey man, you made me smile. You made my day good off on the right foot," and that's what all of us performers want to do. We just want to entertain people. We want to make them forget about their 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday, and kind of just be entertained, lay back, and enjoy the show. So when we didn't get that ring to perform in, at least there was social media platforms for us to get that out of us, and to give to give to the fans, and let them know that, hey man, when wrestling's gonna come back, we're gonna be there. You guys better be there too. We want you guys to still be fans, and we're gonna have fun together. So that was Eduardo the Sexual, and again, just another extension of myself. But my willingness is always to entertain and make people have fun. So you can never get that out of anyone. And any wrestler that says like they're retiring, there's always the showmanship part of them. And you look at any wrestlers that now, when there's a phone now, it used to be when there's a camera up, now it's a cell phone. These guys are on, and they're an extension of themselves, where they're themselves, but they want to say cranked up to 11. So it's like, where the speaker, the knob doesn't go past 10. Well, professional wrestlers go past 10. We amp it up, and we will always be performers till the day that we die.
And you said you did those for the fans, once they could come back to the shows, they have that for right now. And now fans know how to make ice as well.
Yes, that was one of my famous recipes. Ice, yes. As I remember, you can ice goes good with many things, including drinks and more drinks. So ice is a good thing on a summer day. It's not so good in the winter, but yes, ice, people. Yes, Eduardo the Sexual showed people how to make ice. So again, like you say, just having fun with the people out there, and being silly. That's probably what I'll best be known for, is being silly. Being the guy that holds his penis in his hands while doing backflips, just being silly. If I go down in wrestling history, that's what's going to be written on my epitaph. Yeah, the guy who holds his penis while doing backflips in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, depending on who you asked, that did not. That definitely went viral, to say the least.
Well, not everyone is Jim Cornette, right? So not everyone might like it, but I don't give a flying naked moonsault fuck. That's why if I have people laughing, then I'm doing my job. We will never be able to please everyone in the crowd. people are always looking for different things. They might want to see pure wrestling. They might want to see high flying. They might want to see the acting. So again, not everyone in the room, you might not be their favorite wrestler, but what I always wanted to be was your most memorable wrestler.
And when you're not pro wrestling, you're a competitive racer and obstacle course runner.
Dude,
And
yeah. I had again an awesome thing. We all need different outlets, and just doing the obstacle course racing helped me love wrestling back again. So it's full circle. I was kind of looking for something else to kind of like move away from wrestling. It helped bring me back in too. So yeah.
what kind
Sorry
of
for cutting you off.
Oh,
I
no,
just love obstacle racing. I love everything that I can get my hands on. So that's the thing. Anything I try, if I keep doing it, it's because I really love it. So it was something that I learned a new part of me. And there's when you're running in a mountain pretty much alone, you're just with your thoughts. And for a good 8 hours, I was in Vermont on Killington Mountain, and at one point I'm up in the clouds on this mountain. You're running through the woods and everything, and you're alone with your thoughts. And it was also a source of meditation and therapy. And yeah, I had some amazing moments of epiphanies, if you will, just while running and enjoying nature and enjoying life. It did bring me back to wrestling, and what I felt at that moment, I wanted other people to feel that too. And again, so it's again awesome. Sorry, get back to the question before I cut you off.
No, that's exactly what I kind of wanted.
You see, I can tell the future, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
You mentioned kind of falling out of love with pro wrestling. What kind of caused that for you?
It's happened a couple times, and it'll happen to every wrestler. Sometimes it's an injury that causes you to step back, and you got to take a couple months off, and you're just not seeing your friends anymore because they're all wrestling on weekends. So you're not going to see them. They're not coming to visit you, So that's the thing. And the injuries, something that pushes you back, or you know what? Sometimes great things happen in your career, great things, and you're like, man, what's the next step? It's going to be they're going to be coming and knocking at my door. I'm going to be made. I possibly might, I'm feeling I've never had the best matches right now. And then sometimes things crash down. Again, the pandemic, you could have an accident in your family, something that when reality sets in and you're like, you know what? I got to take care of some of these real life things before I can take care of wrestling. And especially, want to tell a special shout out for anyone that has sometimes bad thoughts, depressing thoughts, things like that. We're a good community of wrestlers where we've all had our ups and downs, but we're all, again, this may sound cheesy if anything, but when people have had bad moments, especially during the pandemic, I reached out to a lot of people because I knew they were not in the best place or not able to perform. So, some people took it really hard. I took it kind of as a learning experience and a break. I'm like, look, if this is going to help me heal up and stuff like that. Some people took it harder and were like, man, what am I going to do now? What do I do? So, again, with mental issues and with sometimes keeping your sanity during certain times, wrestling is our sanity and it is our therapy. So, but talking about it too is cool. So, I feel that all the years of experience have culminated into, again, trying to help the younger generations because that's what we need to do. That's what a couple people sometimes maybe told me some positive words, maybe at the end of their career, and it kind of helped me realize like, hey, this guy didn't even have to talk to me, but he did. And so it always makes me be grateful for that. Be grateful for the opportunities that I was given, be grateful for the people that I've met along the way and that have helped me. So if I can be that for a lot of other people, and, to hear that in 10 years from now, or in 15 years from now, or in 25 years from now, at the IWS 50th anniversary when I'll have some people say, "Hey, old man Eddie, I remember when my father used to watch you wrestle, and he showed me on the holograms of you wrestling because there's the future, so they got holograms and things like that." Anyways, and they're gonna be like, "You know what? You inspired me to do some wrestling and stuff, or you inspired me to jump off the top rope and do a backflip with my penis in my hand." So I'll be able to be proud of that.
Now, kind of getting back on the obstacle course racing, you're very competitive in it. You've won quite a few medals now.
Yes, I have, and again, some of them were participation medals. But again, when there's no feeling like when you perform in the ring, but there was also no same feeling, the adrenaline that you get when you've conquered a mountain, when you've climbed up and down a few times because you're going back up, back down to do enough kilometers. You're jumping on things, you're climbing on things. It made me feel like a kid. It made me feel alive again, and I was having fun at the beginning, but then as I got more competitive in it, and it was just a cool thing to do. And even some days, again, I want to say when I was younger, I would run a race and then wash up and then head over to a wrestling show, which is crazy to think. But now before a wrestling show, my favorite thing to do is have a nap. So, but again, that's what happens when old age kicks in. I just turned 106 years old, but I sleep in an air pressured coffin. So that's what keeps me young again. That and virgin blood that keeps me young. So yeah.
Well, I have to say it's broken because you don't look a day over 82.
Oh my God, you're a sweetheart. I'll pinch your cheeks right now.
Um, all everything we've been talking about, all these incredible things about Sexxy Eddy. Can you tell us if your Wikipedia page is accurate?
I did some corrections on it. It was a couple of years ago, so I don't know if other things have been added on, but it's very accurate. It's scary accurate, where it comes to the point where there's some facts that I have no clue how people figured some of this stuff out. So it's pretty amazing. I was. But it's pretty cool how many girls want to have sex with you when you got your own Wikipedia page. That's awesome.
Well, let's go to the colossal question now. Let's say they're making a movie about Sexxy Eddy. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first three songs on your movie soundtrack?
Man, it would have to have some saxophone for sure in one of the tracks because what's sexier than a saxophone? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna rename it the Sexxophone. That's right. I would have my own very own instrumental, the Sexxophone playing on my movie soundtrack. Man, some of those songs I would know. I'd love to hear Trooper, Here for a Good Time. Not a long time, so have a good time. The sun can't shine every day. That would probably be one of the songs. I might have, it was the Jungle Boogie. It was also off the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. It just starts with the get down, get down, get down, get that. Because, I love to get down. I love to get down and dirty. The ladies know it. And all my buddies know that too. So it's like, that'd probably be one of them. And maybe I'd have a nice romantic song. It was taken from the original Top Gun by a band called Berlin, Take My Breath Away. That would probably be the moment where I sweep the girl off her feet. But that song would quickly move into the get down because, romance is only a step away from the good stuff. So, I'll take those three songs, man. I'll take those three songs for 200, Alex.
All right. Now that we have the soundtrack down, then we write the script, and then we go to casting. Who plays Sexxy Eddy? And you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
I'm a big fan of his quirky comments, and again, the Deadpool movies are probably one of my favorite superhero movies. So, and I'm looking forward to see that next one with Deadpool and Wolverine. So I would have to say a fellow Canadian, Ryan Reynolds, would play Sexxxy Eddy, although there would definitely have to be a stunt cock to play my penis. So you basically need two actors to play me. So
Okay.
that's, again, who'd play my penis? I'm not sure. Probably Hornswoggle.
Now, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be three people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
Wow, that's an awesome question. Well, I think for every, again, when they say for every good man, there's a good woman behind him. So that's something that would be important. So that for sure. But even then, before the good man becomes a man, he needs to be, brought up. He needs the values. So I think three roles that would definitely need to be seen in the movie would be my mother, my father, and my wife. Those would be probably the three, important roles in the movie. Uh, I would have my dad played by, it's funny, by Ric Flair, because my dad did have resemblances to him. My dad looked like, actually, at some point, a sleazy wrestling manager. A couple times when I had him be a manager, when he didn't necessarily know what he was doing, he didn't necessarily want to do it, but he did it because his son asked him to. So I would have Ric Flair play my dad. And that's as people would call him sometimes. They thought he was the Quebec Ric Flair. That was something. So that would be for my dad, Ed Dorzowski Sr. For my mom, man, you know what? I'm just thinking right now, because the long hair at the time, again, supported and encouraged her son in all his stupid and crazy activities. Even though she didn't like me doing death matches, I had to sit down and watch wrestling matches with her afterwards they were done, so that she knows that her son was okay. And so I'm thinking right now, I don't know why, because I'm thinking of her naked on a poster, Demi Moore. And I'm like, again, I don't know what that has to do with my mom. Maybe I have some mommy daddy issues or something, but I'll say Demi Moore is my mom. And so for my wife to play, yeah, who would play my wife? Can I take someone that totally doesn't even look like my wife? That would be fun.
Of course.
So that way on the movie set, I can fantasize of a different woman. And then when I go back home, I'm with my real wife. So it's almost like I'm having sex with two women. So, you know what? I'd have to go with any girl that's blonde, then, to be the opposite of my wife now. Right now, she has, I think, green and blue hair. I'd have to go wake her up and see. But she likes to change hairstyles, hair colors. And that's always fun. To always keep it fresh. Guys, you got to keep it fresh in life and keep it fresh in the bedroom. So every time she gets a new hair color, it's like I'm having sex with a different person. It's wonderful. It's great. It's like I have a whole bunch of different wives. But
Okay.
who would play her? Who would play? You know what? I would have to ask her who she wants to play her role. I would ask her. I would give her the right for that actress. I would let her play. But you know what? Like I said, I'm gonna go with the blonde. I'm gonna go with that English actress there. She played Harlequin there. Harley
Margot
Quinn.
Robbie.
Margot Robbie. Let's go with Margot Robbie. Yes. Okay. There you go.
All right. A solid cast. Definitely sounding like a blockbuster. And you
Blockbuster.
and you could pre-order the tickets now.
Yes.
Now,
I'd buy that for $1.
now, you are a Canadian from Canada, so I do have two Canadian exclusive questions for you. And I kind of feel,
Awesome, eh?
I do feel like you kind of answered this question already, but is Canada's greatest national treasure Ryan Reynolds?
You know what? I'll go with that. I think we have a lot of great things. I'm gonna name. I'm gonna name a couple of them. Food. In French Canada, in Quebec, it's something known as the poutine. And for those that are unaware, it's a strange combination. It might sound strange, but you add French fries with brown gravy, and you add cheese curds to it. Now, there's many mutations from this. There's many. You can add Italian spaghetti sauce to it. You can add peas to it. You can add chicken to it. You can add whatever. It's almost like the sky's the limit. So poutine is one of the greatest exports from here. I want to say also the women. I've been around the world, and there aren't dirtier women than in Montreal. I'm in the hometown. That's what it is. It's like it's amazing down here. And again, you know, one thing too. It's like if you don't speak perfect language, they love accents. So the French women love accents. So I love the women we have here in Canada. Maybe it's the water. Maybe it's it's the air, the mountain air. I don't know. Again, Pamela Anderson is Canadian, and again, she again was one of the posters that I whacked off the most to. So yeah, let's 3 cheers for Baywatch. But she would be up there as another top Canadian export. Again, Ryan Reynolds, I think he's doing his thing, and it's awesome, and he's representing. So yeah, he's living the dream, and again, he's showing everyone that I don't know, we're pretty close to being American, except maybe we're more polite sometimes. I guess that's what we do. I mean, uh, if somebody bumps into us, we actually apologize. So that's pretty cool. So, and then again, I've wrestled in New York where people like, or in Jersey, and they're like, get the fuck out the way, I'm driving here. So, you know, we don't get that here. There's no horns on our cars in Canada because it's too rude. So, you know, we just stick our head out the side of the window and we go, hey, maybe do you think possibly if whenever you're done tying your shoe in the middle of the street that maybe you could, no. So like we have a lot to offer in Canada. So all this to say is just please don't bomb us. Please don't hurt us. We could be great allies. And again, bacon, Canadian bacon.
Yes.
Huh? Am I? Okay. So again, there's the food, the women. It's just a great combination. And again, we bring a lot of. We have different animals too. We have some. Oh no, actually, yeah, you guys own Alaska, so it's like, yeah, you guys have polar bears too. So okay, but we're very close. We're very close in the characteristics and stuff. But like I said, maybe we're just a tad more polite.
I'd say so. And man, Sexxy Eddy already answering questions that haven't come up yet. The second part of that question is poutine. Where is the best place to get it?
You know what? That's it. We would have to have a whole other episode on that because again, there's so many variations and combinations. But one of the best places, and I'm going to say in Montreal, is called La Banquise. And what they do there is they have a giant menu, and that's all they serve. But there's so many different kinds. You got example, a Mexican style where they throw sour cream and guacamole and some hot peppers in there. You got, they'll have a Western style. They'll have, even a Canadian style where they use a little maple syrup to sweeten the sauce. Yep. So the thing is, whatever your heart desires, they have a poutine with your name on it. And I mean, I've enjoyed some poutine so much that I would have, if there wasn't children in the restaurant, I would have pulled my pants down and had sex with my food. That's how good it was. I'm just saying, cheese, fries, and gravy, who would have thought how fucking perfect it could be? Beautiful. If you're in Canada, please. Again, there's different places to get them. And if you try one, they don't all taste that way. If you don't like it, try another one at another place. And not at a McDonald's. Please, not at a McDonald's. At a specialty poutine store, restaurant. And they will take care of you. You tell them Sexxxy Eddy sent you, they'll take real good care of you.
Hell yeah. Now on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Wow. It's funny because I wanted to say that I would never pay for pineapple on pizza. I never. But then I was really drunk and I bought 2 slices. I said, you know what? I'm gonna take it now. And it wasn't as bad as I guess I thought it was. Um, and my wife introduced me to something for when we had a brunch now with crepes. It's called the sweet and sour, or the sweet and salty. Sorry. So it'd be combination sometimes of bacon and green apples, or there's like Swiss cheese and ham with like caramel sauce in the crepes. So you know what? I want to say, like, to each one has their own tastes. Some people, the Italians, will tell you it's sacrilegious. You can't put pineapple on pizza. Doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. But you know what? I'm like, again, the first time I had artichoke and asparagus on pizza, I was skeptical. But when made properly, anything could be delicious.
Now we're getting into controversial territory. Artichoke?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what to think, but it was one place that won some awards for the best vegetarian pizza, and I'm a meat lover, but you know what? I appreciate all vegetables, just like all my women. I appreciate all their shapes and sizes. I appreciate all the foods in the world, because anything could be made right and can taste like excellent. So I was surprised, but you know what? Again, cooked right, and with a combination of like fresh tomatoes, basil, good mozzarella cheese, you know, it's delicious. So again, don't knock it until you tried it, people.
Sexy Eddie likes his women like he likes his pizza.
Actually, the opposite, because I like a lot of toppings, but you know, and it's all dressed. But sorry, if I had to take my women like my pizza, it would be undressed.
Okay.
So I guess it would just be sauce, or it would be my sauce. Yeah, exactly. I said it. I went there. That's right. It won't be a triple X Sex Express Sexy Eddy interview without 3 X's on some controversial topics. But yeah, uh, I, I guess I like my pizzas undressed. I also like the more the merrier. Stack them. If I can have pizza pie, ooh yeah. You know what? Give me a calzone. That's a pizza folded on top of another pizza. Basically, like I stack up my women like that too. I'm ready for the buffet here.
Now, weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
Uh, you know what? I'm gonna have to say no because I have a rock on my neck. Basically, some people refer to it as a head, but after all the chair shots and concussions, it's basically a rock. So I mean, I know what it's like to deal with this one. Uh, no need for 2 rocks in the ring, but yeah, I think I'll pass. I did have a pet rock when I was younger, but to wrestle a rock, no. But that's a good combination though. Wrestling and rock music is always a good wrestle rock. I've been on a couple shows like that where there's music and wrestling. It's a great combination, like Reese's Pieces, like peanut butter and chocolate. Great combination.
Well, just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
Wow, Psycho Mike Rollins did that. I love the guy even more.
Now, I do ask everybody this question. I'm not entirely sure, but do you have a spirit Pokemon?
Well, I mean, if I can refer to my penis as my spirit Pokemon, he evolves and he grows, and except he really levels up. And then when he gets really angry, almost like a Dragon Ball, Dragon Z, he flares up, and there's explosions that can be caused after that. So, but then he always calms down and finds his chi and becomes Zen again. But don't make him angry, or he will spit at you.
Okay.
I guess I call it more my poke Hermon. Poker mom, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Poker face, poker. Anyways, I know I got something in there. There's a joke waiting to be made in there, but yes, I have a spirit penis Pokemon.
Okay. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Dead? Oh, no. I mean, I used to think that 5 years ago, and then 5 years before, I was just like, yeah, the way I'm wrestling, I'm not going to last too long. I really want to say that I've used up my 8.5 lives. So if I've got part cat in me where I have 9 lives, I'm living my last leg of it right now. I hope to see myself not wrestling, but still in some capacity helping out the younger generations with wrestling. I mean, you got to take care of your body after a while too. And I know that my wrestling has changed and evolved to be more entertaining. And that's what you got to do. You got to, you start out wrestling, you're going to do every move in the book just because you can. But then as you grow older, you're like, you got to save it and conserve it. And just like any good poker player, you always have to have cards up your sleeve. Don't just throw all your cards down and hope to win every time. It's like you got to keep some mystery up there, and you got to have some secrets. So I've been able to wrestle smarter, but in 5 years still wrestling, I don't know if people could call a 50-year-old man sexy anymore. It's like the new kids on the block. When did they stop being kids? They're the new. They're not even the new men on the block. They're not. They're kind of like, I don't know, the older men on the block. They're past middle age. So it's hard to say. When did Neil Young stop being young? Again, I want to say it's a long time ago. But again, he can't change his name to Neil Old. There's a lot of questions in there. So, but again, it's almost like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So I don't know if there's room for Sexxy Eddy at 50. I don't know if there's room for sexy people at 50. But then again, we are all sexy in our own way, and sexy is all in your attitude. So I guess even when I'll be 80 years old, knock on wood or knock on rock, my head, when I get to be 80, that I can still be sexy. Or I hope I can still get it up. At least just for 5 seconds, just to like put it in and then, okay, time for bed, So sexy's all in a frame of mind. So, but if I can keep helping people to be better performers, then that would be awesome. And if not, if I have a nice place, a nice home to go to, whatever roof is over my head, and whatever I have is as a home, that's my happy place. When I'm on the couch chilling with my wife and my dogs, that's my happy place. So that's where I'd like to see myself. With a beer not too far that I can reach. If I'm in a rocking chair, even better, even better. So yeah, that's that's where I see myself in 5 years. But again, that's where I see myself. This is my happy place. So.
Hell yeah. And is there a match you would like people to go out of their way to see that best shows off what Sexxy Eddy is all about?
Again, one of my proudest moments, and it was maybe more for the crowd reaction. So it would have to be the Canadian 4-Way from Combat Zone Wrestling, and I'm gonna say I believe the show was September 2004. The name of the show right now is slipping my mind, but the match itself was myself versus XS versus Kevin Steen versus El Generico. And that was one of the 4 ways that really opened the door for IWS. The accidental piercing of my artery was a moment that went viral that helped them discover the IWS and opened the door for a lot of other wrestlers. But that Canadian 4-way that we did really, if the door was a crack open because of my blood, this 4-way kicked the door down. And again, my favorite part of that match is the reaction when I come out, because of the first notes play, the respect that I got, that people that knew about Tournament of Death, that knew, that knew about that match or that had watched it after, it was amazing. And when I heard that, and before I even came out of the curtain, I knew with that sound of the crowd yelling that what we were going to do tonight, what we had, was going to be very special. And it was like, don't fuck this up. This is your big chance, and it was. And John, like I said, John Zandig took a chance on us, and we fucking broke the walls down, in every sense of the phrase. So it was an awesome moment, awesome time. I'd recommend people to watch that. Watch it with an open mind too. Remember the year, remember the time frame, and watch some of the bumps that take place in that match. It's some spectacular stuff.
And if the match is on YouTube, I will find it and I'll put a link to it in the description of the video below, but on YouTube at Castbox. If for whatever reason it's not on YouTube, I believe you should be able to find it on CCW's subscription network.
Yeah, but I know that there's at least clips or highlight clips. You probably have the whole match too there. So again, watch it. Listen even with the commentary on it. Those guys helped make the match also. Again, everything, the stars were aligned for that match. It was an awesome showing that we did. So yeah, listen to the crowd, and I hope you appreciate it as much as I did. To just listen to that crowd reaction. That again, nothing beats a live event. I tell everyone, come see live shows, because whatever you see on TV doesn't compare. You got to be in the middle of the action. So come to a live show, man. And again, I promise to entertain, but watch that match and then come see a live show, and then like I say, just sit back and enjoy.
Hell yeah. And you could watch that match after this interview. If you haven't seen it, want to see it, want to re-see it. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our speed round or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
I'm ready, and for this special round, we're going to call it the boner round instead of the bonus round, okay?
Gotcha.
Good.
Right. Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Okay, on the spot, Mick Foley.
Worst wrestler.
Ahmed Johnson.
That is a correct answer. You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
You know what? I'm going to break Roman Reigns' streak.
Hell yeah. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
The Breaking Glass is pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool. Yeah, I think Stone Cold's music would really, I think that would kick ass.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
When my penis doesn't really go inside the girl.
We would have also accepted tastes great on toast.
Beautiful. Hey, that's the name of my sex tape.
Squash, vegetable or fruit?
or match. I think I'll go with vegetable.
It is indeed a fruit.
Wow. You learn something every day. I'm going to go to bed less stupid.
It has seeds, so it has tomato logic.
Okay, well then, okay, that makes sense. It's good.
Now, to our listeners, yes, I know what the next question I'm asking him. New Japan Pro Wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question: what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
Yes.
I mean, again, like I said, I've wrestled naked. So, again, if you could just watch a match from GCW, myself versus Matt Cardona, I'm totally naked for a good, I don't know, I guess 4 minutes.
All right. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
Again, I've referred to my penis as Darby Allin, and if that's the case, yes, I have.
All right, and that is the correct answer.
Yes.
That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you for, again, like I said, for having me. It was awesome. Again, you did great, your research, so I really appreciate that. And again, keep supporting independent wrestling for everyone out there. Keep the podcast going because, again, this all helps us do what we love to do. We and entertain you, and the podcast just help to promote this crazy, wacky, wild world of professional wrestling. And again, I want everyone to appreciate every form of wrestling. Just like music, there's not one type of music. There's hundreds of types, and there's hundreds of different spawns from it. Just like wrestling, it doesn't have to be one type. It's a little bit of everything. It's what you make of it, and it's what entertains you. So that's what wrestling is. That's what it's all about, and that's the evolution of wrestling. It's going to be forever changing and adding to this great sport, to this entertainment, and to this diverse pastime that again, it's the second oldest sport is wrestling. The first is running, I want to say, but the second oldest sport is wrestling. Fighting for survival, fighting for your food. Again, we're modern day gladiators in a different arena, in a different ring than what it was before. But you know what? Again, like I said, it's always evolving. We're keeping you entertained. We want to keep people entertained. And again, thank you for doing what you do. If not enough people say it, thank you for your show.
Well, I appreciate that. And, it's great people like yourself that make all of this incredible.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
once again, where can we find all things Sexxy Eddy on social media?
So again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and again, I encourage you, if you have a question, write to me. Again, if we're talking about wrestling, we can talk about non-wrestling. You need some girl advice, I'll help you out with that too. Again, if I can help people out in any aspect in life, you can find me on all the social medias, and you know it's the right account if we got a lot of friends in common that love wrestling. So again, it's again, we're having a great time. We want you to have a great time. Just reach out. Let us know that you appreciate us. It always warms our hearts. And if you do have hot girls in your vicinity that you want to present them a Sexxy Eddy match, or that I might be in your wrestling in your town soon and you want to introduce me to them, then you know what? I encourage you all to do that. I will continue to have sex until my penis falls off. So as long as there's blood running through me of this 106-year-old vampire, I'm gonna always want some sex. So, anyways, all this to say, I love all the women in the world.
And merchandise is at the shows. There's no official store, correct?
Yeah, no, just write to me if I'm a little lazy of getting T-shirts because usually I'm trying to get undressed, so I don't want people to put more layers of clothes on. So but I do have some shirts and stuff. Like I said, the Sexxxy sauces. If you come to a show, you can buy them from me there. We really appreciate it. And even if you don't want to buy anything, just come and say hi. Come and say you love us and you love what we do, and that'll be super awesome. Come take a picture. It doesn't need to be a dick pic, just a regular picture. We can do that too.
And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. If you're at a show, buy a damn shirt and drink his damn sauce.
Yes, please. Again, we're just trying to have a good time. So come and have a good time with us. Or buy me a beer. Buy me a drink. I love to drink. Drink. Alcohol is good. Buy me a drink. And as long as there's still alcohol in my glass, I will talk to you. But I'm a fast drinker. So, you might have to keep buying me drinks. But you want to hear more crazy stories. The more I drink, the crazier the stories will get. So we only touched the tip of the iceberg on Wrestling with Entertainment tonight. You want to get the full uncensored stories? You're going to have to buy me some drinks, my friends.
And of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. But on YouTube and Castbox, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us tomorrow as we interview Psycho Boy Fodor. And join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, Eddie, when I say wrestling lit, you say entertainment, okay?
Yes.
For our very special guest, Sexxxy Eddy, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment!
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.